I have a very, are we good? Go ahead, get it all set up. So I'm very excited to have Infusionsoft here in the room with us, and I have been seeing you guys talking to them. You can tell from our conversations in our business, they are a huge part of what we do, a huge part. They touch practically every piece of the business that we do, whether it's affiliate marketing, whether it's email marketing, whether it's segregating our lists, whatever it is that we do, Infusionsoft has a hand in that because we utilize their program. And actually, I'm not so sure we're utilizing every piece of their program yet. No, Meredith keeps saying to me every week, Michelle, we're going to do this part next. And so, but I just am so excited to have them here to introduce them to you so that you can see the possibilities for yourself and your business and the growth potential. So I want to go ahead and have Scott come on up so he can talk to you guys and let you know more about email marketing in your business. So give him a hand.
Thanks, Michelle. I got to tell you, I've been so excited about today, okay? I have had a wonderful experience yesterday. It's been a treat for Jessica and I to be here with you, not just because of the wonderful content that you've been given, listening to Michelle and Bellany and Tanya yesterday, but because of hearing your stories and listening to what you're all about and watching the collective brain power that's been going on has been fun. I feel a little bit like my oldest son, who was just asked the other day to a girl's preference, okay, by not only one of the cutest and most amazing girls in the school, but the one he's had a crush on for quite some time. So he is very excited for this upcoming dance, and so I feel a little bit like him. Now, saying that doesn't mean I have a crush on you. That sounds maybe a little creepy, so I apologize for that part. But probably one of the greatest compliments that we're given at Infusionsoft is when we're invited to participate in events like this one. And I appreciated, Mike, I appreciated your comments about fitting in amongst the ladies. Oftentimes I feel the same way, a thorn amongst roses. But maybe I'm a little more comfortable because of my background. You see, when I was a freshman in high school, I was a soprano. Okay, I sing, okay, and as a matter of fact, I was an all-state soprano. I grew up in Alaska, and I could sing. And whenever we'd be in these big choirs, the choir director would always say, "Ladies and Scott." Okay, so I'm very comfortable in that environment. So maybe just roll with it, kind of roll with it. But one of the great things about these kind of events, and this has been a fantastic event, is the people we get to align ourselves with. Isn't that really true? As I was flying home from the Women's Prosperity Network unconference in Florida last week, and as I was flying home on Delta, on the little screen on the seat in front of me comes a man, Richard Anderson, the CEO of Delta, okay? And there he is in his office on this little video, and he thanks me, okay, for flying Delta. But then he says something that has really resonated with me. He says, "We at Delta want our values to match our service." Does that resonate with anybody else? Wanting values to match service? And I think that's what we love about people like Michelle. It's not just that she puts on a great event and we service the same kind of clientele. And it's not even just the fact that she is an Infusionsoft user, although we love that about her. It's because of the values align. And when the values align, there's power in that. And so I've been really excited for the opportunity to be with you today. Now, because of... We're going to work here, am I on? There we go, okay. I feel like, having spent the day with you yesterday, that we have a pretty good idea of the kind of people we have, the businesses that are being represented. Even some of our simulcasts have piped in. We have a pretty good idea. But there is one thing I don't really know about you yet, and that's kind of where I would like to start. And I like to start with this question. Maybe. Why did you start your business? Shout it out. Give me some reasons. Why did you start your business? Please. Say it again. Make a difference. Thank you. Others? Help others. Good. Why'd you start it? Say it again. Help as many people as possible. Great answers. Okay, start over, a new start. We've talked about that. A lot of people do it because they want control, power, time, all wonderful answers. And as you think about the answer, that really is an important question. Why are we doing what we're doing? Is it okay with you? I would like to share my why. You ready? Can I share with you my why? Is it okay if I do? Okay. All right. Here's my why. Oh, there it is right there. That's my why. I've got 4 sons. Now, as I'm concerned, I've done it right 4 times. Okay? Don't get me wrong. I love girls. I'm married to one. I want them to marry one someday, but I really just don't want to raise one. Okay? Okay? A little less drama in our house. Okay? My wife feels like God hates her. Okay? And I say, God does not hate you. He just loves me more. Okay? It's just the way it is. But I love my boys. You know, and if someone was to come to me, take Robert, for example, and he was to say, I want $1 million. I would say to Robert, no, you don't. And he'd say, yes, I do. And I'd say, no, you don't. And he'd say, yes, I do. And I say, no, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you can tell I have boys. That's how we communicate, okay? But why? I'd say, Robert, what would you do with that $1 million? Roll around in it? Maybe, for a little bit, to fulfill that maybe a dream you had once, right? But what would you do with that money? Robert would probably take that money and pay off his house, to get rid of debt, right? Vacation, time, and probably spend it on who? Family. You know, there really has to be a fundamental why, a foundational why to what we're doing. And just listening to you, I feel like you have that. I feel like you understand why you're doing what you're doing. Because that's a very important part. You have to know why you're doing what you're doing. It's got to drive you. You know, I left a nearly 20-year career in education. I'm a teacher by passion and by profession. And I left that career of 20 years to work for a software company. And a lot of people have said, you're crazy. Now, that is probably true, but not for this reason, okay? Those that haven't said I'm crazy have asked the question, why? Why would you do that? Well, I went into education for the same reasons you did. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make a difference in young people's lives. I wanted to impact those lives. And that purpose hasn't changed. As a matter of fact, as I look at these 4 young men who I would give anything for, and I think about what's going to make the biggest difference in their lives, in their world, and as I really think about it, the answer to that question is you. Entrepreneurs, small business owners are going to define the world that my children will grow up in and that their children will grow up in. I am inspired every single day by people like you who are trying to live the dream, who are trying to make a difference to help as many people as possible. That's what's going to impact my children. That's why I do what I do. You know, in Infusionsoft, we have many values. One of those values is that we believe in people and their dreams. And you know that. Behind every entrepreneur, behind every small business owner, there's a what? There's a dream. One of my favorite quotes from Walt Disney is, it's fun to do the impossible. How many of you would agree? How many of you are on a quest to do the impossible? Me too. But you see, there's a problem with that, though. How many of you have read Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth? If you haven't, you need to. It'll change the way you think about small businesses and how you run your business, okay? But Michael Gerber says this. He says, what happens is most small business owners are technicians. They're good at what they do, okay? They're good at a trade or a skill. And they wake up one morning and have what he calls an entrepreneurial seizure, where you realize, what am I doing? I am good at what I do. Why am I doing it? For him. And so with that, you say, you know what? I'm done working for somebody else. I'm going to do it on my own. And you're going to start your own business. How many of you experienced the entrepreneurial seizure? Yeah? But you see, there's a fatal assumption hidden within the entrepreneurial seizure. And that fatal assumption is that if I know the technical skill of a business, then I know a business that does that technical skill. Can we all agree that they're different? That there's a big difference between knowing the technical skill of a business and knowing a business that does a technical skill. Huge difference. And so what happens is this business that you start on your own because you want to make a difference, because you want to help people, because you want control and power and freedom, now enslaves you. And the entrepreneurial dream becomes a technician's nightmare. Maybe I can illustrate it in a more personal way. Let me tell you a story about my two oldest boys, okay? Jacob, who turns 18 tomorrow, and Ryan, who is 15, okay? And then I have my 12-year-old, and you saw my little caboose, the 3-year-old, okay? Our caboose that drives the train, okay? He is what we like to call exhilaratingly exhausting, okay? And there's a reason why you have kids in your 20s and not when you're 40, okay? But that aside, when my oldest two sons, Jacob and Ryan, were 4 and 2, okay, we had an incredible experience where one day, in a moment of weakness, their mother consented to taking them to McDonald's, okay? Not a mother's dream, okay? Right? They don't have enough raw food, right, Natalie? McDonald's. Not enough raw food to help us be healthy, okay? And so she consented to go to McDonald's. Now, my boys didn't really care about the food. They liked 2 things at McDonald's: the toy and the playland. That's all they care about, okay? So we go to McDonald's. Now, I should back up a little bit and tell you a little about my second son, okay? Because at this time, my second son's 2 years old. My oldest son is 4. Now, my second son, when he was born, he weighed 9 pounds, 13 ounces. He was a big baby. My wife's about 5'2". Matter of fact, he broke 3 of her ribs before he was born and has been a pain in her ever since. That hasn't stopped, okay? Matter of fact, at his 2-week checkup, 2 weeks, he weighed 17 pounds. People would stop us in the store and say, "Is he okay?" And I'd say something sarcastic like, "Well, he was stung by a bee. Maybe he's allergic." No, he's just fat. Yeah, and he was. And even at age 2, he was a very fat kid, okay? So with that background, we're at McDonald's, my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old, they devour their food, okay? Like and all, because they know they can't go to the playland until all their food is gone. And so immediately my 4-year-old Jacob, he is going through the tunnels and he's going down the slide. And my 2-year-old Ryan, he wants to go down the slide in a very bad way. And as soon as he's done eating, he heads over to that playland. He takes his shoes off, puts them in a little cubby like you're supposed to. Now, I don't know if you've been to a playland lately. To go down the slide at McDonald's, they don't have a ladder that you climb up. They've got this little, I call it a level system. You have to climb up on this level, then climb up on this one, then on this one, and then you get to go through the tunnels and go down the slide. Well, imagine if you were my little 2-year-old Ryan, who runs over to that first level and does this. And he can't get up. Now, I found myself, as a good parent, sitting there watching him in this struggle, thinking to myself, poor little fat kid can't get up. But I'm not a terrible parent. I'm a good father, so I tried to will him up. So I'm sitting in my chair, drinking my drink, doing this. And it didn't work. It was not working. He was struggling. Now, here comes the best part. My foot goes down the slide. And without any prompting, without any coercion from mom or dad, he sees his 2-year-old brother struggle, and he gets down on all fours and says, "Ryan, my back." And I watched Ryan step on Jake's back, and he saw Jake's face. And then he gets up to the next level, and so forth. And pretty soon Ryan goes to the tunnels, comes down the slide. I don't think I've ever seen a bigger smile on a kid's face. He was beaming. He was so happy he went down the slide. And like all 2-year-olds, once is enough, right? Yeah, no. Matter of fact, Ryan comes over to that level system and does this to Jake. No, I want some more. Now, at this point, as a father, I'm like, I got this little tear in my eye, right? And I go and I help Ryan through the tunnels, and it afforded me the opportunity to go through the tunnels too, so that was good. You should try it. It really is kind of fun. Now, I don't have as much hair now, but it will static your hair for some reason, so be careful of that. Now, I share that with you because, to me, that is the perfect image of a small business owner. How many of you can relate to Ryan? And here's the interesting thing. You're all at a different phase of the level. Some of you are the very first part. I've talked to some of you like, I've got some good ideas, okay? And you're down that bottom level. And some of you are a little bit more progressed, but we all struggle. And as I vision a small business owner, as I envision you, you all want to go down that slide. Whatever that slide is for you. Wherever that freedom point is, wherever you want to go down the slide. But you're struggling. And I look at you as if you look at me and say, "Scott, I need some help." And so let's see if we can offer some of that kind of help today, okay? You know, as a company like Infusionsoft, we are committed to helping small businesses succeed. That is our purpose. That is our passion. That will never change. No matter how big we grow, no matter what other markets change, we will always be about helping small businesses succeed. And because of that, we have gone into the trenches. We have done everything we possibly can to learn everything we can about small businesses. What makes them succeed, what makes them fail, what are the ins, the outs, the do's, the don'ts. And as we've done that, we've learned some things. And it was probably about a year or so ago that we decided to share what we've learned. And if you're willing, I'd like to share some of those things with you today. How many of you are willing? If you're not willing, who cares, okay? Because you're in my coffee shop and I've got a microphone. Right, Tanya? Right? Thank you, okay? Awesome. Okay? So this 10-year mission, one of the things we learned, there's some cold hard facts, some things that you know. And this is not going to surprise you. But what percent of small businesses collapse in the first 1 to 3 years? Any idea? It's actually 40%. Okay, 40% collapse after 1 to 3 years. After 5 years, that number goes up to 80%. And after 10 years, what percent do you think of small businesses collapse full? They're done after 10 years. 96%. Now remember, what did Bellany teach us yesterday about statistics? They are a history of averages. And that history does not have to define our future, right? As a matter of fact, these numbers aren't scare tactics. They're real, and they're good indicators. But for people like you who want to do the impossible, these are what? Motivators, opportunities. I'm going to defy this, right? But this is reality. And as we think, we've learned that there are 3 black holes that contribute to the failure of small businesses. 3 things that get in the way of our success, of accomplishing our dream. Going down the slide. Those 3 black holes are, 1, multi-system madness. We talk about survival marketing and having no real roadmap or strategy. And if it's okay, I'll take just a few minutes on each one of those. Okay? So let's talk about multi-system madness. You know, if you've started this process of being a small business owner, you know that there's a lot to do. Matter of fact, you've heard the phrase, got to wear all the hats, right? You know, it's like the other day, well, I guess it was a while ago now, I was watching the movie Transformers with my boys. One of those things my wife doesn't like because she doesn't enjoy those. Not really a chick flick. I didn't know that. Transformers is not a chick flick. Now I know. So we're watching Transformers, and there's a part in the movie when this really cute girl says to the kind of dorky kid, she says, "You think I'm shallow, don't you?" And he says, "No, I just think there's more to you than meets the eye." My little son, my 3rd son, says, "Transformers, more than meets the eye." And all of a sudden, I had this little brainwave. I'm like, this is not a movie about robots. It's a movie about people. Because we transform all the time. Sometimes intentionally, right? We put on event me, right? And then I go home and I'm family me, or when I'm with my buddies me, right? And we're transforming. Sometimes it's our own personalities that are transforming, but in a small business, we have to transform all the time. I got to be marketing me. I got to be sales me. You know, I got to be all these things. And you start trying to put all these things together. You go, man, I need to have a website. How many, honestly, as great as the content has been today, are feeling a little like, holy cow, how do I do it all? Okay, there's a lot to do. And you start looking at all these different systems that are in place, and there's ones out there to help you manage this madness. The problem is when you try to put them all together, what do you get? Yeah, we call it chaos. The multi-system madness, and we'll talk a little more about that in a minute. The second black hole that we talk about is what we call survival marketing, okay? Now the question is asked, what does a survival marketer look like? Well, there he is, right there. It's a caveman. I mean, think about the caveman. What does a caveman do every morning? He gets up, okay, off his rock bed, rolls out of the cave and says, got to provide for the family. So he grabs his club, heads out to find the herd, right? Scopes them out, finds the weak one, right? Singles that weak one out, hunts it down and beats it with the club. Drags it back home, feeds his family. If he's lucky, maybe a day or 2, and then what's he got to do? Go do it again. Always chasing. Survivor mode. Does that make sense? We're talking about survivor marketing. How does that look like in the workplace? Well, I appreciate Tanya talked about a funnel, right? That's a good analogy. We're always trying to funnel things, right? We're trying to sift and try to find the right people. And as we go through leads to prospects to ultimate customers, right? And so here's how it works for us. Here's how survivor marketing, caveman marketing goes. We start out and we generate interest. And that's what kind of this whole event's a little bit about, right? Using social media to do what? Generate interest. And so as I generate that interest, then what happens is I move them down the funnel, I sell to the hot leads. Now, what's a hot lead? Some of you are looking at me. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks, Tony. I thought that was kind of funny myself, okay? You know, years ago when email was just starting, I had a Juno account. Do you guys remember Juno? It was like one of the I had a Juno account. I was having all these struggles with Juno, and I made some comment to one of my students, and my student says, "Oh, Mr. Robley, you should try Hotmail." Well, thank you. Didn't notice. M-A-I-L. Kind of ruined my whole image of myself. But yeah, a hot lead is someone who's ready to buy, right? That's who we sell. We attract interest. We then sell those people who want to buy right now. And then what do? We now have new clients. And after that, what do? My best part? Yes. Sign relief. And then what? Start all over. Thanks again. Yeah, we get that club and we start all over, right? We never follow up. Well, take a look how this works. We've got lost opportunity. Not only are we missing out on time and money we're spending, but the silent killer is opportunity. We're losing interest. We're losing leads. And ultimately, we're losing customers. There's leaks in our funnel, and we're missing out on a whole lot, right? Because we're just constantly chasing. We're just trying to survive and go through the motions over and over again. Well, let's talk about this. If we had an audience of 10,000, wouldn't that be great, right? And if we use our social media and other resources correctly, we could have an audience of 10,000. And if we funnel that down, we're going to get maybe 100 responders. 100 people that say, you know what? I'm interested. I like what you're talking about. I like what you're selling, whatever it might be. And of those 100 responders, we might get 10 customers. And that might be good. We got 10 customers. But what about the other 90? 90 people that said what? I'm interested. What happens to those other 90, let alone the other 9,900, okay, who we haven't quite captured yet? Well, what's going to happen? They're going to fall through the cracks because we have no follow-up. They'll probably go to our competitor because, friends, it's all about timing. People will buy when they're ready to buy and not when I'm ready to sell. So the secret is being there when they're ready. It's in the follow-up. So when we do this, we are just throwing things in the garbage can. We're losing potential prospects every day. And we're not just talking about losing prospects. Ultimately, what are we talking about? We're losing money, right? Because look what happens. What if, through follow-up of those 90 people, we were able to get 5 more? And then we continue to nurture and follow up, and then now of those 85 that are left, I've got 5 more from them. Continue to do a little bit of follow-up, a little nurturing until they're ready. I get 5 more from that, and I do that again. Suddenly, what do I have? Just do a little bit of follow-up. 20 new customers at no additional cost. Again, we've got to stop throwing money in the garbage can. You know, at the end of the day, what causes businesses to fail? It's a lack of money. I mean, we never see a small business owner go, oh, geez, we have got way too much money. I don't know what we're going to do. We are doomed. We are going to fail. No, it's not the case, right? And so we've got to stop throwing money in the garbage can. We've got to stop chasing the next deal and learn how to leverage certain things. So what's the cost of not following up? Again, some of these statistics that are important to give us some idea. 81% of sales are going to happen after how many contacts, do you know? I've heard from 5 up to 11. We're going to go with a nice, easy 5, okay? 81% of sales are going to happen after you've contacted them 5 times. And usually that number is a little higher than 5. So then look at this. 85% of the time, we stop after what? 1 or 2 contacts. 81% of the sales are after 5 contacts. We stop 85% of the time after 1 or 2 contacts. Do you see the money just going in the garbage can? I hope you can see it, because it's happening, just because we're not following up. We're missing out. So, How do you fix it? At this point, you're probably saying, okay, Scott, thank you. You've shared some good things, but nothing I haven't really known, okay? You haven't really enlightened me all that much, okay? You just kind of reiterated what I already felt and knew. So how do we fix it? That's what we want to talk about. Okay, we're going to talk about some general solutions and maybe specific solutions. The general solution is we've got to build a process, a system. It's like trying to build a box, if we want to be really basic. We want a box where people come in and money comes out. How many would like such a box? Okay, that's what we're talking about, right? It's like if I built a box and every time you put $1 into that box, $5 would come out. How much money would you put in the box? Every cent you have, right? And I'd borrow and I'd do whatever, because that's what we're talking about, creating that kind of a system where money comes in and money comes out. That's what we're talking about. It's about a system. And the answer kind of lies then in that third black hole. The lack of a roadmap or strategy, okay? I mean, I think we can all agree, how hard is it to get from point A to point B without a map? Now, this sounds a little foreign to us because we live in a GPS world, right? But how many have been burned by the beautiful GPS, okay? Yeah, I think whenever I'm driving and I'm using the GPS, I always call her Sheila. Okay, it makes me feel better, right? Sheila loves to say things to me like, recalculating. How many feel like in your business strategy you're recalculating all the time? Or she'll also say to me, when possible, make legal U-turn. Okay? Yeah, that's a good one. That's her nice way of saying, you idiot, you made a wrong turn, turn around, okay? And again, sometimes we're in that same mode as we're trying to build our business. We're recalculating. You know, how many of you had some recalculations given to you, those ahas this weekend, right? Some recalculations, maybe some U-turns. I got to completely go a different way. When I talk about a map, what I mean is a marketing automation plan. That's a good thing to write down. A marketing automation plan. That's the kind of map we're talking about. That's the kind of system we want to discuss. And so as we talk about that, we know that strategy plus tactics without a system is just pure chaos. If I've got all the strategy in the world and I've got great tactics, but I don't have a system to put all that strategy and tactic in place, I'm still in that chaos mode. And so it really comes down to making sure that we have good strategy, a good plan. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, well, how do I then become the master of business design? I got to create this. Well, think about it for a minute. Let's go back to our survivor marketer. Let's go back to our caveman, okay? What was the greatest and most impactful invention to the caveman? Fire, good. The wheel, okay, very helpful. I would submit all those things are great, but I would submit that the greatest and most impactful invention to the caveman was the fence. Because what's he always doing? He's always what? He's always chasing. So if he can put a fence, he's now captured that. I don't have to go chase it anymore. I know where it's going to be. And not only, so now he goes from hunter to rancher. And not only a rancher, and he looks around and goes, holy cow, I've got some soil here, and now I can become a farmer. And if I take a seed of corn, and I plant that seed of corn, and I understand the life cycle of corn, and I nurture every aspect of the life cycle, then what's going to happen to the caveman, who's now become from a hunter to a rancher to a farmer? He now can reap the harvest, right? Well, guess what? Customers are like corn. They have a life cycle. And if you understand the life cycle, and you nurture them and eat part of the life cycle, then you can what? Reap the harvest. And so that's what we're going to talk about. What we call the life cycle marketing plan. And you have a handout, a little booklet, a brochure, you want to call it. And I'd like you to open that up. If you haven't already started taking notes, this is where I would suggest you take a few notes. And here's what I want you to do, okay? Again, I'm in teacher mode now, okay? So I don't want you just taking notes. I want you to take specific notes. There's certain things I want you to write down, okay? And here's what I want you to do. I want you to look for two things. As we go through each of the 7 phases, and there are 7 phases to the customer life cycle. And again, just like corn, if we understand each phase and nurture each phase, we will reap the harvest. Not we might or we can, we will. That's just the way it works, okay? So here's what I want you in each of the 7 phases, and we won't spend a lot of time on each one, but in each of those 7 phases, you'll see in the handout there's some place where you can take some notes. And this is what I want you to look for. I want you to look for 2 things. Number 1, what opportunities, okay, and I like that word, what opportunities do I have to strengthen my business in that cycle? Okay, so I want you to be paying attention to the opportunities that you come up with, that you can do to improve your business. And number two, what are the tasks that I'm going to need to do? Because we don't want you just walking out here with an opportunity list. We want you walking out here with a task list, a to-do list that I can actually get done and check it off. Hard to check off opportunities, but tasks can be checked off. Does that make sense? Okay, everyone know what we're doing? Okay, so as we go quick, let's talk about this in a general sense. Let's go a quick overview. So in the customer life cycle, number one, we're trying to track traffic. That's what Michelle's been doing a beautiful job in helping us understand. We want visitors, right? And from there, we're going to try to capture their leads. So I love the phrase opt-ins. We want people to opt in. From there, we're going to get them to, we want them to be hot prospects, okay? We want those prospects to be ready to buy because we know not all of them are at the same time. So we're trying to get them to become hot prospects. Once we do that, we want to convert sales. We want sales. That's what we're trying to do, whether we want them to buy our information, sign up for our workshops, buy our products. That's what we're doing. But then there's a back end, right? And part of that is we also got to have customer retention. So we've got to deliver and satisfy. And as we do that, that leads us right into upselling. We want to leverage upselling. And we'll talk about the lifetime customer value of a customer. And then, of course, we want to get referrals. We're missing an untapped resource if we're not using our current customers and clients for referrals. So that's general. So let's go about each one. First, attract traffic, okay? Again, Michelle's teaching you and teaching us how to leverage social media to do just that. We call them magnets. You see, the survivor marketer is always out there chasing, always trying to find the customer, right? Always out there searching. Well, we want to flip that. We don't want to find them. We want them to what? Find us. And for them to find us, we have to attract them, okay? And we do that through magnets. That's what the term we use is a magnet. We have product magnets. We have educational magnets. We offer them something, and I love what we've talked about, we offer them something of value, something that they will want for free, because that's what we're about. If we really are about helping small businesses succeed, if we're really about making a difference, and it's not just about making money, we've got to give them something of value. And then as they do that, we're attracting them. Let me give you an example. There is a company called Human Healthy Vending, okay? You'd like this one, Natalie, okay? They're trying to change the vending industry, okay? Because vending machines typically give a lot of junk food, right? So they're trying to have human healthy vending. In our world, that's a tough sell, okay? People don't like healthy food. They like the stuff that's not good for us. So maybe I'm just speaking about myself, okay? And so they started, and they weren't finding much success, okay? They were struggling, trying to convince fitness clubs and others to use their vending machines. And so this is what they did. To try to attract, they had a magnet. On their webpage, again, they started as these peer hunters. They created these lead magnets. And you guys have talked about some great suggestions within 5 shocking ways your club is losing money right now. Or 11 dumb vending mistakes and how to avoid them. That's the magnet that they offered. Here's the information I'm offering to you for free. All you got to do is give me your name and your email, and I will send it to you. And guess what happened to this company? They grew their prospect database by 10 times. 10 times. Just by offering something. By having people be attracted to them and not just chasing with that club trying to find the hot leads. So it's important in this life cycle, the first thing that we do is we let them come to us. And we use that through magnets. The next thing is we want to capture those leads, right? You know, we don't want them to just be interested and come to us. We need to capture, we need to build that fence, right? So they don't go anywhere. So I know where they are at all times. And again, Michelle's done a great job of talking about this role. Matter of fact, if you look on her webpage, at the very top of her webpage, what does she have right up there at the top? She's got an opt-in, a web form. And there are many ways in which you can create those. Where now, look what she's offering. She is offering, I'll make it a little bigger so you can see. She says, receive your free copy of our 7 rules for creating and profiting from your Facebook fan page. So does she have a magnet? Absolutely, something that somebody's going to want. But it's not just a magnet. She's now provided a what? A means to capture. Because now I've got some information. Because guess what? If I don't have their information, they're not in the fence. And I'm still got to chase them down. So we've got to make sure we're capturing those leads as well. So remember, though, and this is important, and I think you get this, just because you've captured a lead does not mean you've earned the right to what? To sell. Just because you've got their name, because you have a little contact, you don't now have the right to sell to them. And as we see that funnel, everyone's a little unique and everyone's different. And what it takes next is that third part of our life cycle is nurturing. We've got to do everything we can to help them to be ready. Because just because I've got their information doesn't mean I've earned the right to sell to them. And so let's talk about nurturing. If you look at the need for nurturing, 2% of leads, again, this kind of goes back to some things we've already talked about, 2% of leads close on the first contact. 2%. 3% after the second contact, 4% after the third, 10% after the fourth, and again, remember that number? 81% of sales close on or after the fifth contact. Again, that's same, just reiterating those numbers. That 81% of sales are going to close. So what do those people need? They need nurturing. They need building. They need strengthening until they're to that point where they're ready to buy. Because if you're like me and you're convinced that what you have to offer them is worth it to them, then you will want to nurture them so they'll be ready. Then on the flip side, 48% of businesses quit after the first call. 24 after the second, 12 after the third, 6 after the fourth, 10 after the fifth, which puts us at about 100%. We give up. We stop. Do you see the need for nurturing? We've got to make sure we find ways to nurture our prospects. And I'm not just talking about sending out a 42 blast autoresponder email to, when we're talking about nurturing, there are some key components. You see, your nurturing has to be targeted. It's got to be timely. It's got to be relevant, personalized, and you're building trust. Otherwise, it's not nurturing. That's why it's called nurturing and not follow-up. Follow-up's important, and nurturing is the best form of follow-up. Because what I'm offering them is timely, it's relevant, it's personal, it's targeted. I'm trying to build trust with them so that when they're ready, they don't go to my competitor. They come to me. That's a sort of nurturing. We good? Nod your heads if you're good. Okay, awesome, good. Like a bunch of bobbleheads. All right, so we're trying to establish trust, educate, and ultimately convert. Convert to what? Sales. That's what we want. And that's our next step, is converting sales. And here's the cool thing, friends. If you've done your due diligence in the first 3 areas of the life cycle, this area is easy. This area just takes care of itself because you've done what you're supposed to attract them, to capture them, to nurture them, and this just happens. As a matter of fact, if we go back to our human healthy vending, for an example, okay, through their lead magnets and what they were able to do, this is what they did, this is how they lived. They found they were spending about 8 to 10 hours per prospect themselves. Okay? Again, chasing, hunting, trying to find 8 to 10 hours per prospect. I'm going to guess you want more than about, 5 prospects, and then you're going to run out of time, right? And so what they did is they changed their model so that their representatives only focused and talked with those who were qualified. And how do they know if they're qualified or not? Through those magnets, through that nurturing. They began to do that, and as people began to respond, they were able to identify who's the targeted audience, who is qualified. And what they did then is they decreased their time selling by 75%. They began to function and operate like a 20-person marketing department. And here's the cool part. They grew from 0 to $5 million in revenue in just 3 years. It's about doing the right things at the right time, right? Converting those sales. Well, another key ingredient is to deliver and satisfy. Okay? We can't just sell. We want them to be retained. We want them to be repeat customers, right? And so we like to call it the wow factor. You ever been wowed by somebody? You ever have someone just wow you? I had a cool experience. Me and a colleague who does this with me, we were going down to Arizona for a training meeting, and we're on the airplane, and it was really kind of funny because a real grumpy flight attendant, okay? I mean, she was being kind of ornery, real short with her announcements and stuff, but as she finally came through and they're passing out their drinks and stuff and offerings, she offered us peanuts or pretzels. Okay? Can they make the peanut bags any smaller? I didn't know that was possible. Okay? Now, that's not the wow factor I'm talking about. Okay? So as she comes through, she says, do you want some peanuts or pretzels? And my buddy says, and because he knows she's a little ornery, he says, I'd really like a cookie. He says, like a chocolate chip one, kind of warmed. Can I get one of those? And she's looking at him. And he goes, I'm just joking. Peanuts and pretzels would be fine. And she throws in some peanuts and pretzels. Well, when she's finished, okay, all of a sudden, she's walking down the aisle and she does this. Throws 3 bags of chocolate chip cookies at him. Wow. Now, there's a wow factor on both ends. Someone who recognized she just needs a little laughter in her life and then takes some things to serve. But man, how's that? He says, I want some cookies. And she says, here you go. And he ate those cookies in front of me. That was my wow. Wow, really? You're not going to share? Wow, thanks a lot, buddy. Yeah, we've got to deliver and we've got to satisfy because we want repeat customers, right? Well, here's the other part we tend to forget about. So we want to upsell, right? We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get as much from them as possible. That's why we're constantly offering them more things, more products, right? We have a contest we have at Infusionsoft called the Ultimate Marketer of the Year. And the way this works is people submit to us how they've used Infusionsoft, and we kind of crown a winner. And this last year's winner was named by the man of Jermaine Griggs. And what happened was he recognized that he had abandoned his customers, that after they had sold, he had done nothing for them to upsell. So he sent out an email with an apology saying, I am so sorry that I have just kind of abandoned you. Here is $50 to help that you can put towards any of my products. He has a company called Hear and Play. And what happened was he increased the lifetime customer value from $90 to $375. See, that's the phrase you need to write down, lifetime customer value. I don't want them just to buy my one product and then go away. I want them to be lifetime customers, and I got to find out ways to do that. Well, we also then need to seek for referrals, right? It's the easiest way to get clients, to attract people, is to use the people you already have. And we have an advanced referral strategy program we've come up with, taking years and years of research. You ask for them. There it is. That's the advanced referral program. Okay? Yeah, ask. We've got to do that. We've got to seek referrals. Well, so there it is. When you look at the life cycle of a customer, really you'll notice that there are 3 systems that we really need. We need a marketing system and a sales system. We need an e-commerce system, somewhere to helping people to buy, and then we need a marketing system on the back end. We don't forget the back end portion of our cycle. So how much more monthly revenue could you bring in if you had a map like that in place? $1,000 a month? Could it be 5? Could it be 10? Could it be $25,000 a month? That's a tough conversation to have with your significant other. Yeah, I'm leaving $25,000 a month on the table because I don't have a map in place. But not just have it in place. What if it could happen automatically? People have often asked me, well, Scott, what does automatic look like? It looks like this. That's what automatic looks like, right? And Michelle and others can tell you that when you've got these things in place, it happens, whether you're doing it or not. It's all about having the right system. Remember when Michelle talked about her journey? One of the things on her 9 steps was pay attention to what? Systems. So things can happen automatically. Well, think about the time. How much more time could you have if you had a system like this in place? And I think you get the answers, right? More time, more money, just by having the right system in place. So let's talk Infusionsoft if we can for just a quick minute, okay? So what is it that you get at Infusionsoft? Well, number 1, you get an all-in-one system. You get a system that has the CRM, your customer relations management, your data. And as I loved when Michelle was talking about tagging and how you guys have all been tagged in 40 different ways. So again, so that our follow-up can be what? Targeted, timely, relevant. You know them. You follow their activity. You know what they're doing. We also have that marketing component, and we also have an e-commerce component. Now, some of you may say, I don't sell anything online. And if you don't, you might want to think about what you can. because that's a great thing to do. But if not, we also have a package you don't have to have that. We have a package that doesn't include the e-commerce, so we can accommodate you in that regard. But the best part about this all-in-one system is that middle part, because it's an all-in-one system that's what? Automated. We call it automation domination, okay? To make things happen automatically. You need to know about Infusionsoft, that we've been a member of 500 Inc. for the last 5 years. At Infusionsoft, you're getting one of the top small businesses, marketing software in the country, and we're the 10th fastest growing software company in America. In addition to recognitions like that, you should know that we have wonderful trusted advisors and partners who use and promote our software. People like Dan Kennedy, Tony Robbins, Laurel Langmeyer, Michelle Sissom, right? So what you're doing is you're now using what we like to call the secret sauce, okay? You're using the secret sauce that some of the top performers in the industry are using, okay? They're all Infusionsoft users and partners. Not to mention, if you join us, you then become one of the plus 1,000 others you haven't even heard of yet, right? Over 30,000 users we have. You also should know that as you take a look at this, a couple things we'll put into play, because I think Michelle's done a really good job of helping you see the relationship behind how this works. But you're going to get an ability to attract new customers. Through Infusionsoft, you don't have to hire a web designer to create a landing page. You don't have to hire a web designer to create that web form that you want to put on Facebook. You can do it right in Infusionsoft. And not only can you create it there, but we're going to track it for you as well. And we can track everything they're doing. When they click on a link, when they watch a video, when they don't, and you can target and strategize your marketing based upon that, which leads us to the automated marketing part. Once you've captured those leads, now you can start sending a meaningful voice to the people where they're at in the life cycle marketing, right? Where they're at in the nurturing phase. And that's all provided through Infusionsoft. We will set up the campaigns that help you be able to target those people. Also, it's going to help you close sales. Again, we do have the e-commerce, online shopping, if that's a component that you need. And we're going to help you get repeat business. Imagine, ask a question. Now, some people say, well, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Well, yes, there is. To me, a stupid question is a question you already know the answer to, okay? But it's okay that I ask them because I'm a parent. And as you know, parents are the authors of stupid questions. I find myself asking the same ones my parents asked me. It's like, do you want a spanking? I remember one time my mom was kind of mad at me. She says, what do you think I am, stupid? Is that rhetorical? Because I wasn't going to bring it up, okay? Another time she said to me, she said, do you want to go to bed without any dinner? What do we have? You know, if it's liver, send me to bed right now. My mom loved liver. Oh, okay? The stupid questions, right? So my stupid question is, how many of you would spend $100 a month to have somebody constantly sifting through, making sure all of your warm leads are made hot, and they continue followed up all the time, making sure getting those people where they were ready to buy. And then on top of that, they're also going to follow up with every single one that does buy. Would you spend $200 a month on an employee that did all that, guaranteed? Yeah, would you be able to sleep a little better at night knowing that was happening? Absolutely. You're not going to find someone, right? So how does it work? Well, here's what you get. You're going to get stability with Infusionsoft. We can tell you that right now. We have a secure data hosting and daily remote backups. Very safe, very secure, best in the business. We also have a world-class email deliverability. We send out over 60 million emails a week with 99.4% deliverability rate. They're going to get through. Know that they're going to get through. Also, you're going to get unlimited live phone and chat support. We're not going to leave you alone. We're going to hold your hand. We're going to help you all the time as you need it. In addition to that, all future product upgrades and new releases you'll get for free. And that's one thing I love about Infusionsoft, that one of our values is we innovate and constantly improve. We listen to the people, and we constantly make changes. And if you've heard about Infusionsoft a year ago or even 2 years ago, I guarantee you this, it is not the same. We have listened, and we've made changes, and we've responded. Matter of fact, we got a new release coming out this month that's got some remarkable changes in it as well. And that will continue to happen. And no, that's what we're all about, innovating and constantly improving. It's getting easier and easier and easier. But of course I'm going to tell you that, right? That's my job. That's what I'm here to do. So I'd like to maybe have a minute, have Belny come up. Belny is one of our users at Infusionsoft. You've heard from her a little bit. but I want to give her just a minute. Do we have a microphone for Melanie? And I want her to tell her experience with Infusionsoft and why she does it. Michelle's expressed hers, but I want another voice. This is from Melanie. Melanie, thank you.
You want me up there?
Absolutely, so they can see you.
Well, they can see me.
That's the best part.
You know, I ran into Infusionsoft for the very first time in London when I was there for an event, and they were at a booth next to me, except there wasn't anybody in it at that time. And fortunately, we have not only the Infusionsoft booth, but we have people we can talk to. But that was the first time I'd seen it, and then the second time I seen it. On the third time, I go, hello, there's a bell ringing. And I looked at it, and I thought, you know, I'm not ready yet. My business is not at that place. And then I stepped back and I looked at where my business was. And the most important part of my business is, where am I in my business? You know, because what I know are the things that I am really good at. And when I spend time on that, my hourly rate is far greater than what it is to be doing the things that I'm not good at. And so I stood back and I went, when I did the math, and I'm not a math person, even though I was in the mortgage industry 27 years, it's not my forte. But when I looked at the math, it didn't make sense to not have it. I couldn't afford to not have this system, because every one of the pieces that were here was either done in 4 to 5 different other online systems, so everything was scattered, absolutely nothing connected. Data was skewed from one part of these systems to the next, and the labor that it took for me, chasing back and forth, trying to keep everything updated and consistent, it was a nightmare. I was spending all my time chasing that stuff. You know, it's like the fence is beautiful. So for me, I jumped. I guess, 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Seems like we've been married longer, but, you know, anyway. But it's something that has made my peace of mind it's like, wow. There's the wow factor again. And so here's the thing, I want to give you a comparison, because I just wrote this down. I'm 2 years down the road, and I sit here today with one of the pieces that I've been in search for in how to articulate to the listening of my client and to my customer. And I now have had a system that not only has the access that I need to my clients, it has the system that now will deliver the way I can articulate it so they can hear it. And I don't have to go, okay, now it's time for Infusionsoft. It's like I got it so that when I was ready, and I've been ready all along, many different things, different benchmarks along the way, that the system has saved me time. But this aha breakthrough for me today allows me to have immediate transformation because the systems are already in place. And that's just huge for me, Scott, that I don't have to now go figure out how I'm going to get all this stuff out to everybody. I'm ready. The system's ready to go. The client base is there. And so I'm ready to go home.
Thank you. Give it up for Bellany.
Thank you,
Bellany. They'll take that back. So here's really quick what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to hold your hand and help you fast, to get started fast, because a lot of you want implementation, want to get going. Number one, you're a personal success coach for 60 days. And that's exactly what we say it is. It's a success coach. It's not just teaching how to use the system. One of the things you're buying into with Infusionsoft is not just a great software package, but you are buying into people who understand marketing and sales and strategy, and they're going to help you personalize that strategy and put it into the software. We're going to assist you in transferring your data. We're going to give you a kickoff strategy session where we're going to evaluate where you are in your own personal customer life cycle. What does your customer life cycle look like? We're going to help you create your own marketing automation plan. Matter of fact, we'll sit down and you will get your own plan. And you'll have that put in place. We're going to help you do that. Okay, we've done that one already. Okay. You're going to get world-class customer service. Okay, we've got weekly webinars, state-of-the-art help center. We've had 1,500 attendees at InfusionCon in 2012. We service our customers very well. And also the one thing we like to brag about, our last month's stats, if you call in for tech support, an average wait time is 1 minute and 13 seconds. We're doing everything we can to be able to respond as quickly as we can because we know to a small business owner, 1 minute and 13 seconds matters. And we want to make that as less as possible. And we continue to strive to innovate and improve that. So you all should have an enrollment form, okay? And here's what I want to do. I want you to get a pen out because we're going to make a few changes. Because we're here at Michelle Sisson's event, we're going to offer you some things, okay? We're going to make it for you. Our basic packages are our standard packages, and I mentioned that is without the e-commerce portion. So if you don't have a need to sell online, then you can purchase our lowest package, which is $199 a month, okay, to have that. But if you wanted to have the plus, okay, you wanted to have that e-commerce component, then normally it's $299 a month. We're offering it through Michelle Sisson's event, and this for our event only at $259 a month. So cross out $299 and write $259, okay, for those that want that. And you'll notice the number of users changes. You get 5 users to help, and it's important, as Michelle talked about, having different admins. Also, we have a Kickstart package. This is an important component for us, okay, because we want to make sure that you understand and we're not leaving you out to dry. And so that Kickstart package, which includes all those things we're going to do to help you get started, is normally a $2,000 value. We ask that, but because we're here at Michelle's, we're going to change that to $1,499. And what we'd like to do also, we recognize that sometimes even that is a big chunk to take out at one time. We do have a 2-pay option. Okay. Now you'll notice the 2-pay option doesn't add up. You think, oh, these Infusionsoft. Well, there are some finance charge, and it's about $100 more, okay, on each end to do that. Okay, so it's to your advantage, if you will, to just pay it in one sum. But if you need to break it out, we can help you do that. So please mark that. Also, we have some things we have 5. We like to call them Welcome to the Family kits. Okay. We have 5, so for the first 5 of you, we have those you can take home that with you today that include some of these things like our 2012 Ultimate Marketer Swipe Binder. Remember we talked about that contest we have? We took the top 10 in that contest where they share with you how did they use Infusionsoft, what was their campaign, how did they use it. We put it in a binder. And I just learned, I didn't know this, but in our kits today, we also have 2011s. So that's 20. That's access to 20 people's strategies and how they have used Infusionsoft. Priceless. Normally, we charge $400 for that. Also have a small business success kit, which is $400, and we have our 2012 InfusionCon video, where you get to watch all those things. All that's about $1,000, but we're just going to give it to you free. Okay. Again, the first 5 of you will get a walk out of it with it today in our family Welcome to the Family kit. If you're on a simulcast, obviously we can't give that to you, but we can email these things to you. We also, I think, in our welcome kit, Jessica, we have Clay's book, Conquer the Chaos. It's kind of the story of Infusionsoft, and it's a great book if you haven't read it. Do we have it? Good, excellent. But here's the big deal, okay? And this is what I'm going to offer you today that we can't really offer anywhere else, okay? And when we like to use that, this is real, okay? What I'd like to do is I would like to assume all the risk today. Okay, and what I'm going to offer you is a 60-day money-back guarantee. Okay, I will give Infusionsoft, but for me to do that, I need something from you. And what I need from you is I need you to commit. Okay, I mean that means you're going to commit. It's going to take 3 months of working with the success coach and putting this into play. And if you'll do that and commit, the reason I can give you the 60-day money-back guarantee is I know you won't need it at all. But I know for some of us we like that safety net. What if it's not? I'll give it to you. And again, that's something you can get at the event only. If you call in Infusionsoft through a salesman, they can't offer you that. Okay? They may be able to negotiate prices and things, but they will not ever offer you this. So that's for us here right now. Okay? For those of you who are at simulcast, if you go to this website, and this is important, it's right here on the screen, infusionsoft.com/decisiveminds, it's all right there for you. Okay? You can just go ahead and sign up for each of all the different packages that are available. Okay? Yeah, it does help us. It is. It's just going to, if you simulcast, you go through, it's much better for us here to go through. And remember this, friends, that these exclusive offers that we're offering, they will end at midnight tomorrow. They will not be available so we're here till tomorrow, and so just know that they're good for that time frame. So,
One thing I want to say is I paid the $299 a month. I did not get these offers. It's fine. I'm not complaining.
No.
I'm just saying this is a true offer.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
True offer. If anybody ever questions the exceptions that are made on these sales, I paid the $299 a month and I did not get those offers.
Thank you, Melanie, for that. They are. They are that screen. Oh, you want to leave that screen up? Oh, thank you. What Melanie was saying is that she says these are real offers. She paid $299 a month. She paid the $2,000. So she is reiterating that this is not just fluff that we're saying. I always say to everybody, right? She did. So these really are real offers. So thank you, Melanie, for that. Let me just conclude with this. And one of the things that resonated with me, something I think it was Melanie that talked about yesterday, about how we don't have to be, what was the word you used? And instead of solopreneur, you called them a what? A lonepreneur, okay? A lonepreneur. She talked about being a lonepreneur. See, that's our goal. Is we don't want you to feel like a lonepreneur. So I guess if it's a fit, and that matters to us, okay? We're not just trying to push this there, but if you're at a point, and you know where you're at in that level, and you want a little bit of help, and you're ready to take that next step, what I say to you is this. Come step on our back. Let us assist you wherever you are. Let's be part of the family, and we can help you accomplish the dreams and the things you have before you. And my intention statement, Miss Bellamy, is I'm Scott Robley, and I educate and teach sound principles of sales and marketing while offering second to none software, all-in-one sales and marketing to help small businesses succeed. And if you'd like to join us, we'll be here for the rest of the day and through tomorrow. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. So, everyone.